we not paying $500 for braids that we can do ourselves. And who do we have here? Someone that doesn't know how to braid. Big smile for me, please. I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know about braiding, from the basics to the hard stuff. Hi lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I have for you a master class on how to braid, everything you need to know in this one video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Welcome, I'm glad that you stayed. So my hair is freshly washed and blow dried. I would recommend, if you never braided before or you're trying to learn how to braid, detangling your hair, stretching your hair. That could mean stretching your hair with no heat or stretching your hair with heat. Like today, I decided to stretch my hair with heat, but if you want to do natural hairstyles, you don't have to stretch your hair with heat. Just make sure your hair is detangled. I promise you it'll make it so much easier to learn how to braid, and you won't have to detangle while you are braiding your hair, because it always gets me. I'm just a girl that's been braiding for years, who started learning how to braid from her mother teaching her, and also playing with my Bratz dolls. So that's my credentials. That's all I can say. Before we get started, there are a couple things that you probably will need in this video. Depending on which section you want to see, we absolutely need a rat tooth comb. Depending on how you're braiding your hair, some gel. Some braiding gel would be best. Also getting some clips to make sure that your hair stays out of the way. So the classic 3-strand braid. For me, I'm just gonna section off maybe like the front of my head in a little square. And I'm not gonna put any gel on this particular section, but if you want to put gel, you can. There are 3 really important fingers when braiding. So I want you to make this hand shape for me and then put these fingers down. So all you should have up is your thumb, your index, and then your middle finger. This is what it should be looking like. Correct. These fingers are very important. The next important is to crank your wrist like you're riding a motorcycle. You want to separate your hair in 3 sections, and then you want to grab the 2 outer sections, so the right and left piece, with your thumb and your index finger. Starting with your left hand and your left middle finger, you're going to grab the middle piece and twist like you're cranking a motorcycle. Then do the same on the right side. Grab, twist, grab and twist, 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 grab, twist. I hope you're doing it with me. And grab, and grab, and grab, and grab and twist, twist, and twist, twist, and twist. I'm be offbeat on my own song. I'm weak. But yeah. So now that we've gotten the basic 3-strand braid down, we're gonna move on to cornrowing. So remember our hand grip, basically the gun grip. Again, these are gonna be your most important grippers, fingers, for your cornrow. So we're starting with 3 sections. Your thumb and your middle finger are anchoring your hair, and only your index finger should be moving and parting. So you're gonna go underneath, your left index finger is going to go underneath the middle section of your hair and over the right section, grabbing the right section of hair. So now we're taking the middle section and we're using our pointer finger to go underneath the middle section and grab the left section of hair. Remember to grip the sides of your hair too, and not just that little small section we started with. And you're just going to repeat that, continuing to weave underneath that middle section. Try not to get discouraged. I know it's a bit confusing in the beginning, and it's gonna take some practice, but you got this. Take as much time as you need. Just remember to really grip these sides of your hair. Also, I wanted to apologize for my hair being a bit dirty. I had to re-record this section because I didn't really like how the camera angle came out and you couldn't really see what I was doing with my hair. So I re-recorded it a couple days later, so that's why my hair is a bit dirty, but I wanted to make sure I got the angles for you guys. So some troubleshooting is make sure you're gripping the sides of your hair, gripping your hair tight. Like, I understand it's gonna be a little tough, but you need to grip your hair tight and grip the whole side of your hair and not just a small little section. And also keeping your hands close to your head helps. If your hands are way too far away from your head, then it's going to be a really loose braid. I think that would help you for sure. And if you want your braid to start higher up, you would have to section out a really small section. So now we've gone over the basic 3-strand braid and cornrowing. So now we're going to go back to the basic 3-strand braid and we're going to add extensions. I'm going to be using some synthetic hair that I had left over in January when I did my birthday hair, which was French curl braids, knotless, super duper cute. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. But I talk about everything you need to know about knotless box braids. I'm just going to use a little bit of this hair so that I can demonstrate how to insert synthetic hair into your braid. So I have my section. I have a really small piece. Now this is not for knotless braids. For knotless braids, use a little bit of a different technique because you're going to be feeding in the hair. Prior to knotless braids, this is what we did for braids. So if you don't want to do knotless, this is the technique. You're going to wrap it around. Loop it around your hair. Then you're going to twist. And now you have 3 sections. You see that? And now you're just going to continue to braid. So the key and the trick really here is to try not to, so like dropping your hands. So like me, dropping my hands, you see how like loose it is? It's because I've dropped my hands. But this is a simple way to add in hair. And so once you get to this particular section and your hair is showing, what you can do is you can add, make sure you continue on with your 3 sections. You can add hair and then continue braiding, or you can feed in hair. So either one works, but I would say I think feeding in hair makes it look a little bit better because it looks even. Because after a while your hair starts to look kind of thin. So this is just a little bit of an example of your hair. But let's go ahead and do it again, and let's not drop our hands. Wrap it around. Okay. Twist and start braiding. And so that is way more tight. And to get it tight like that, again, you see that? Very tight. For me, if I want my hair to be super uniformed, like perfect, you have to figure out which way you braid the best, either overhand or under. I'm going to show you the difference. Overhand looks like this, underhand looks like this. Can you tell the difference? I can tell the difference. I personally love to braid underhand. I think the braids are tighter and they look neat and clean. I'm going to show you guys how I braid underhand, but it's way easier to learn how to braid overhand, which is why I wanted to teach you that today. But depending on your positioning, you can start a braid underhand and then switch to overhand, or you can start a braid underhand and then switch to overhand. It really just depends, especially when you've been braiding for so long. You get used to
the braiding feel and you're able to switch between the two. It's quite confusing, so I'm not going to go into detail on how to braid underhand, but you can watch this video to get a little bit of an idea on how to braid underhand. I'm kind of doing the same technique as overhand. I'm just bringing the braids over my hair. I would suggest trying both ways to see which way feels the best, looks the best, and makes you feel the most confident. I also want to show you how to feed in hair so that your braid looks even and doesn't look as thin as just pulling hair from another section into the section that is losing hair. Essentially, you're going to be doing the knotless technique, so where you're feeding in hair. I'm just going to speed up the video so I can show you the second method to add in hair to finish off your braid.
So you have your hair, and what I like to do is feed in. So go ahead and put it on one side. So your thumb and your index finger.
Loop it around and put it in between your pointer finger and your middle finger. Let me show you one more time. Loop in between the pointer and the middle finger. And then you're just going to continue on with the braid until you reach the end of the braid. And that's that for braiding with extensions.
So now that we've learned how to feed in synthetic hair, let's take it to knotless braids. So you're basically doing the same exact thing, but you're just doing it at the top and throughout your hair. I explained it really well in my French braid tutorial. If you want the full video, go ahead and click here, but I will insert a little bit of a clip in this video. I've already pre-parted. I'm gonna part my hair in 3 sections with a comb. I'm gonna use a rat tooth comb. So I braid my hair around 3 times.
Put the hair between your thumb and your index finger, and then you're going to wrap your hair around and then put it in between your index finger and your ring finger. Now, you have 2 pieces of hair that have synthetic hair and 1 piece of hair that doesn't have any synthetic hair to it, but you're going to add hair later. So now you're going to continue the braid and do it again. Repeat the step.
So far, we've learned quite a lot of things. Now you've learned cornrowing and feeding in extensions. Now we just combine them. So let's go ahead and get our section out and I'll show you just exactly how to do it. I have my section for my cornrowing. I think for me, what helps is hand placement. Now, you can cornrow this way, but it's hard to keep cornrowing down. So for me, what helps is arm placement going above my head. That's what I like to do. We're going to add hair. To our thumb and our index finger. We're going to add hair to our thumb and our index finger. And we're going to place one of the hairs over top. So one is connected over top and one is behind. And now we can just continue braiding. Let's talk parting. When it comes to parting might just be the toughest thing to learn, but one of the most important things to learn. I suggest having a mirror right in front of you and a mirror in back of you, just so that you can see what exactly you're doing. You can see the back of your head. There are a couple options. Now, I have one on my storefront that's really good, but you could just use what you have. You really don't have to use anything too crazy. In the video where I did my French braids, you could see that I had a full body length mirror in front of me and I had a mirror in back of me. And that helped me to see the back of my head. Now it's going to be flipped, so you'll have to get used to it. But once you get the hang of it, it'll be super easy, I promise. If parting is really hard because it is flipped, what you can do, use an HDMI or screen mirror from your phone to your TV. That's also a hack that you can do to help you with your parting. Either one is good, but you just want to make sure that you angle your mirror in a way that you see the back of your head. Let's talk neat parting.
A must for me is a rat tooth comb, specifically one where the teeth are more close together, but any rat tooth comb will do. It's gonna take a long time to get your parts straight, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the technique that I like to do is to make sure I line it up with my nose, and that usually helps me get my part somewhat straight. But for my part to be very, very straight, what I like to do is apply gel to the sides of my hair, smooth it down. You could take the rat tooth side and kind of get some of the hairs out of the way, but to get it super duper neat, you would need to get a rat tooth comb that has the teeth super close together, because that way you can get a better part. I ended up changing my comb for another comb that had teeth that were closer together. I've seen some stylists put the gel right on the scalp, and I have put the gel right on my scalp before, but honestly I don't like the idea of putting gel right on my scalp, just because sometimes that leads to itchy scalp, and also you want to keep your scalp fresh and clean. A dirty scalp will cause irritation, and we don't really want irritation when it comes to like our braided styles. Just keep practicing, keep parting. It's gonna take a while, but try to stay positive.
That's good for me. At this point, the Lord knows my heart, and for me, that right there is a straight part. Okay? Okay. I'm not going to argue with y'all. If I believe it's a straight part, it's a straight part. Give yourself a round of applause for taking the steps to learn how to braid your own natural hair. Small steps for the win. If you felt like you learned something, hit the like and subscribe. If you like this type of video, I'm pretty sure that you'd probably like this video too. One of the best ways to support my channel is watching this video or any of my uploads. I appreciate you guys for staying to the end, and thanks for watching. See you next time.